CJ, what do you remember about the meeting you first had with Buzz in Lincoln when you were still in the transfer portal and tried to figure
Uh
that all out?
um Man, they were supposed to go meet my dad in New Jersey. And I think it was Coach Rock, Coach Lyle, Coach Buzz supposed to go meet my dad, but then something happened with the plane, and they ended up landing. They had to like emergency land in Omaha, and I had just got done working out, and my dad called me. He was like, "Yo, something happened with the plane, yo," and they just landed in Omaha, and I was like, "What? That's crazy," because I don't believe in coincidences, and that was kind of weird. Um, so we ended up going to Momo's. Coach Rock ended up calling me. We ended up going to Momo's, and we just had a great conversation, man. Talked about a lot. Um, Obviously, how I fit as a basketball player, like fit into what we got going on. But me and Coach Buzz kind of like had like it was kind of like we had like our own one-on-one meal. We were just talking about our faith, podcasts, um, like how I've last year I only watched two SEC games, and it was both A&M games. It was against Tennessee, the Tennessee game and the Kentucky game. Those are the only two games I watched, and it wasn't intentional. We kind of talked about that, and I saw a couple Coach Buzz's posts on Instagram, like on my Explore page throughout the year too. More specifically, like the fear over faith one. I guess he was talking about in the Lincoln Center to the guys, and that one really resonated with me. So we talked about stuff like that. Um, so yeah,
Both Buzz and your dad said that you'd kind of studied his career and knew
yeah,
about him before. Where did that connection, before you knew him, where did that
yeah.
connection kind of come from?
I think my dad did a little more studying than I did. Especially like growing up. Like I remember watching Virginia Tech. I'm with my dad and my parents and my brother and stuff. I remember watching them. I even got a letter from them when I was in high school, like my sophomore year of high school. So I vividly remember all that stuff. But when it came to the transfer portal, that's when I did most of my studying and paying attention to what they value as a program, who Coach Buzz is as a person. Um, and I think that played the biggest part in me coming. Just the environment. I remember Coach talked about specifically like solo and how he was like leading prayers, and like before he came, that wasn't something he would probably ever done. And I just thought about the what type of environment and culture cultivate something like that to give somebody that sense of belief into something they didn't believe in before. I think that's speaks a lot to the culture and obviously the people in our program. So.
How big a role do you think you're going to have now moving forward? Because you've been playing a lot more and being
Uh-huh.
productive.
I mean, I don't really pay too much attention to that. I think I just come and try to do my job to the best of my ability every day. All that other stuff like how much I'm gonna play or if my role gets bigger or not, that's not really up to me. I just gotta come ready to do the job whenever my name's called. So,
Why have you been so successful then when you have been coming in lately?
um, my belief in the Lord, man, He's been my lifeline, man. I only have His word to um, hold on to and to be able to ground myself in the truth, or what I believe to be the truth. Um, so remembering verses, somebody asked me a question about my leadership, and that was intentional. It's a verse in Matthew 20, verse 28. It talks about, I don't know it verbatim, but it essentially talks about how we'll all be leaders, and for you to be considered a leader, you have to be a servant, and you have to serve those, just like Jesus came and served us, served those around him, and I think for me, those are truths that I try to hold on to and to continue to stay engaged and stay prepared for when opportunities present themselves to me. Because at the end of the day, the job got to get done, and whether I feel like my role gets bigger or not, those things aren't something I pay attention to.
You mentioned the verse about leadership. I'm just curious if there were any other verses that you really cling to or hold on to real closely.
Yeah, Philippians 4:6-7. Do not be anxious about anything, But in everything by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your requests to the Lord, and the peace that transcends all understanding will guard your hearts and mind in Christ Jesus. Another one, Hebrews 11. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a huge crowd of witnesses to the life of faith, geez, I'm running a blank. Keep your eyes on. Wait, sorry. But Hebrews 12 verse 1 and 2. That's something I remind myself of, and then other truths like just reminding myself who I am as a player as well. But Philippians 4:6-7, Hebrews 12 verse 1 and 2.
Just your minutes have been limited, but you have been impactful in the minutes you've played. Just what has been your mentality when you've gotten onto the court?
Do my job, man. At the end of the day, how I feel, whatever I think I could do in terms of helping my team, those things can get in the way for when the opportunity presents itself to me. I get an opportunity every day to wake up and shape my attitude towards getting better, because at the end of the day, that's all that matters. So.